Hello, welcome to another episode of Mega Manga Monday. I am Jason Hahn, and today we are talking about Dragon Ball Super Chapter 85, called To Each His Own Answer. We we'll get more into what that could possibly mean. It's so cryptic, I know. But I am Jason Hahn, as I said previously, and I am a writer for ScreenRant.com. I happen to write a lot of video game news, but I am a huge manga fan as well. So I got a couple other buddies with me from Screen Rant who are also huge manga fans to talk about the newest chapter of Dragon Ball Super. Steven, would you like to introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, hello. My name is Steven, and I write for the comic section of Screen Rant, mostly writing about manga, specifically Shonen Jump titles, but also doing other comics, preferably Sonic the Hedgehog, Transformers, and Beast Wars. But yeah, really excited to talk about this latest Dragon Ball Super chapter. A lot happened.
Yeah, a lot did happen. Kind of picked up right off where we left off, and some of our theories came true. But yeah, how are you doing today, Carlyle?
I'm Carlyle. I'm another writer at Screen Rant. I do comics, One Punch, Dragon Ball, My Hero predominantly, and yeah, I'm also developing a visual novel called Elven Revenue Service, which you can find on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that's coming along nicely. I've been enjoying the tweets on it. Um, this new chapter of Dragon Ball Super kicked up immediately into our continued fight with Gas versus Goku and Vegeta, and Vegeta did what Vegeta does best. He got the crap kicked out of him, and then Goku picked up the reins, and I. I I'm a big Vegeta fan. I did really like his new form until this chapter, to be honest. It kind of just accentuated what they always do with Vegeta, except they've given it an official power name now. Like, he gets beat up a lot, and then the more he gets beat up, the more damage he can output, but that doesn't really mean anything unless it actually like takes down the big bad. Otherwise, he's just getting beat up a lot. He might get one good punch in before he collapses, and then Goku picks it up again. So really, nothing feels like it's changed for Vegeta. Through that was just my lens into reading this, but I did like a lot of the action in this chapter. Just some amazing panel work, actually. I had a hard time choosing which ones I want to be the thumbnails, because some of the panels just really took my breath away in this one. But yeah, there's so much to talk about. What was some stuff that really jumped out for you guys on this one?
Well, just to kind of build off of what you were saying, about how Goku's coming out on top again. I think probably, like, I'm just so used to it by now that
Yeah.
it wasn't as tragic for me, except what really got me, and what's probably the cool thing about the chapter, and I won't get into it too much, so when we start talking about it, we can go into it more detail. But basically, Goku does something that it's always been Vegeta who's doing it. So basically, before now, Vegeta has always, in trying to catch up with Goku, he's been doing it his own way by having to get overly creative. Like, Goku has always gotten the transformations first, like, Super Saiyan, things like that. But they were always, except for Super Saiyan 3, they were always transformations that, we're aware of, or that we already knew, and that he was just like expanding upon them. Like, we always knew there was a Super Saiyan. Goku just got there first, and then with like Ultra Instinct, that was a move that already existed, and he just learned it first. But with Vegeta, he's been having to in catching up with Goku, he's been having to do it his own way. Like, the first time, when he was trying to get past Goku with Ultra Instinct, like, he basically invented what was it? Super Saiyan Blue evolved, and then he ended up creating Ultra Ego, which was like his most creative transformation. But now it looks like, and it always wasn't like It was just something that Vegeta had to do to be creative to get past Goku, and Goku just didn't seem like he was able to do that. But now he's like created his own spin on Ultra Instinct, and it kind of just proves that, like, my point, like I've been saying, that it's been mostly a Vegeta thing, is that Goku only gets the idea to give his own spin on Ultra Instinct based on something that Vegeta says. Because, like, basically, Goku's mind just doesn't work that way. And it's just kind of like, oh, wow, this is Vegeta's thing, but I guess it's Goku's now, too.
Well, yeah, it's kind of always spoken to, like, Vegeta's brilliance in combat. Like, he just always finds his own way, versus Goku, ever since the beginning, even all the way back to the Kamehameha wave, like, he's always learned it from other people and put his own spin to either make it more powerful or make it, to have it truly evolve. But the thing I've always thought about with Vegeta versus Goku when it comes to new forms is, while Goku usually gets to it faster, Vegeta seems to fully master that ability better. But it was kind of proven back when they were or when Goku was first figuring out, like, Ultra Instinct. Whis even said, like, Vegeta, the way you fight, Ultra Instinct isn't really for you. Like, so I like that they kind of have their own paths. They're not, both working up the Super Saiyan ladder anymore. But I just feel like Ultra Ego got kind of cheapened in this chapter. Like, it would only really feel like a cool new form to me is if that big final power up he was, absorbing all the damage for, was the thing that would take out the big bad. For me, that's the only reason Ultra Ego would really feel powerful. But yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, well, I was going to say something, but what do you want to say, Carlyle?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it definitely applies to some of the other transformations too. Obviously, Beerus had to come in and tell them about Super Saiyan God. So every time Goku has gotten something new, we knew what we were aiming for before that happened.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting that we took Bardock and kind of did the opposite with him. He had no idea that there was anything that he could unlock like that, and still he seems to have managed it somehow. I'm really curious what this new form is supposed to be exactly, and how it fits in with the hierarchy of transformations that we have right now.
Yeah, with Goku's new form?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what we're going to call it either, because Goku Black is kind of taken already. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I almost wonder, like, Goku Natural mode or something would be, I think, pretty cool. But it's just, for a little bit, I was like, is he just not using any powers? Is he maybe just doing Kaioken to boost his own energy? Like, I thought that would have been kind of an interesting twist, because, I mean, as strong as Goku has gotten, I mean, without all the extra buffs and everything, he's trained up his base form to be pretty ridiculous at this point. So I was almost wondering if it was going to be a new form or what. But I feel like we kind of called that in previous discussions, that we might be seeing a new form by the end of this. Yeah. We just haven't quite seen if it's going to fully go into, like, if he's kind of calling on the power of Saiyans, the Azaru transformation, like how the Broly movie did it. They just consistently would say, like, oh, he's managing to pull upon that power without transforming. And I'm kind of wondering if that's where Goku's getting this power from.
Well, I kind of like, I mean, except for the fact that, he's upstaging Vegeta again. I do like the concept of it, because it makes sense. Like, even though, it was originally where you couldn't feel intense amounts of, like, emotions, like rage, hatred, all that type of stuff. You had to have, like, a tranquil heart. It's cool, though, that he's able to now bring those to the forefront, but, like, his motions, he has to give up, like, relinquish control of his emotions now too, in addition to his movement. So it's like it's a great little spin on something. So it's like he has more tools at his disposal. He just has lost more things that he can now control. It's just kind of interesting. Like, I think it's a great logical step.
Here's a thought I just had about how these abilities might be lining up here. If Vegeta's this ultra ego, and this the ultra instinct requires you to be calm and tranquil, and we could perhaps extend that to logical, then maybe it would better be called ultra super ego. Perhaps this new form that Goku has is ultra id, just totally, completely emotionally driven. He's just going to be a righteous fury rage monster.
Oh man, that'd be great. Yeah, I'd be into that. I just don't know if Goku would be smart enough to call it something like that.
He'd probably be like, it's ultra emotions.
I'll have to say that forever.
But yeah, I mean, I was pretty happy to see so many great action panels in this, especially because I feel like the whole Vegeta fight, it just the way it was paced and everything. Once Goku started fighting, I was just like, okay, they're gonna end the chapter here, right? Oh no, we still have like a whole another 10 pages. Awesome. And I almost feel like the fight could end here. Like even the final panels, Gas isn't looking like great. Like it's almost set up as if he's like getting a final power up, but it almost kind of looks like he's draining, or his life might be draining, which was a theory I think I had last time, was that Alec, his brother, may have had him become the most powerful by condensing his life even further than Granola did. So maybe he only had a half day of life left. But again, we got another Frieza name drop, and I'm going to be really disappointed if we don't get more Frieza by the end of this.
He
I think
has
I saw
to.
Carlyle make a pitch on that earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just no way. We can't bring him up this many times and not have him show up. I think that we're probably setting up is that Gas will kind of be in a weakened state, and then maybe Frieza will show up and just obliterate him. And it's like, oh yeah, Frieza's back, big and bad. See, he just killed the other guy, and we said he was strongest.
Right. And if I could see Frieza just being like, you guys had a hard time with this? Man, you guys suck. Like, because, I mean, this is still... is this supposed to take place before the Broly movie? Do we know? Because at the end of the Broly movie, Frieza gets the realization that the fusion technique exists. So it kind of causes him even extra reason to not approach Goku and Vegeta until he finds some new facet of power. But I think the Broly movie is supposed to be canon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's there's a lot in it that intertwines like the regular chronological events of the manga. So yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious how they'll tie that in with Frieza, because Frieza post power or Tournament of Power, we haven't gotten a whole lot of insight into on exactly what his evil, diabolical, new galactic plans are. So I'm hoping we get an evolution towards that, or more information on it. But what are you guys hoping? Do you guys think Gas is done? I kind of feel like I want him to be done. I feel like we've seen everything Gas is capable of. We've been going through several weeks of several characters fighting Gas.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely got to be done. This next chapter will probably be the end of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to watch him just teleport away and then fight Frieza wherever he is. But, yeah, I can't really think of a reason why Frieza would need to show up here either. We kind of need the plot reason why, of all the places in the universe, he would want to be here. I almost feel like they're going to bring the fight to Frieza somehow.
That would be interesting, and we did already teleport around in this fight, so it's definitely not impossible that we just teleport to Frieza's ship and start causing him problems.
Yeah, if they somehow shifted this entire battle to Frieza's armada, and then we just get it almost seamlessly bleeds into a new Frieza arc.
That would be a good I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna screw you guys over before I die kind of thing for Gas to do. Like drag them over to Frieza's place and then self-destruct or something. And then Frieza blames them for it, and now we're stuck fighting Frieza again.
Yeah, I mean, we would just definitely need, like, Frieza needs to discover some new form or some other thing that leads to hopefully more Saiyan stuff. But
Platinum Frieza.
oh man, I guarantee that's a thing. That's probably in Dragon Ball Heroes, the offshoot anime. But yeah, what were some other thoughts on this chapter that you guys had?
Um, there's a few things, but I mean, the one thing that I thought was kind of crazy, is that in that panel, on page 25, where it's like comparing, where we see like an image of Goku's new Ultra Instinct form and Bardock's transformation when the first time that he fought Gas,
Hmm.
and they pretty much almost look completely identical, which is, it just makes you wonder, like, Ultra Instinct is this form that's basically, it's a godly form created by the angels. Like, how did Bardock, if it is the same transformation, like, how did Bardock unlock a form that's basically a version of Ultra Instinct? Like, it's kind of weird. Like, how did that happen? Like, did it, like, the only thing that I can think of is that like he somehow died before, like, Planet Vegeta's destruction, like, and somehow got in contact with the angels or something. Because, like how are they the same? Like, I thought it was
I think Carlyle, going back to a brilliant theory he had in a previous discussion, the removal of the tail. I think could have been just
Yeah.
something that triggers this. Maybe just Saiyans who don't have their tails anymore are able to access this sort of primal energy, possibly.
But what's weird though is that this is based off of, like, Ultra Instinct, which is angel move.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, because like, yeah, he gave it his own spin to Ultra Eagle. Like, it acts the same way, where, like, he gives up all of, like, originally how Ultra Instinct works is that Goku has to, give up all of his thoughts have to let go of his body movements, and his body moves on its own.
Mhm.
He's now doing the same thing with his emotions. Like, he even says, like, but in this form, I can put my emotions to work for me. It's like the same type of thing. His emotions have a mind of their own, like his body movements. That's why it's like an extension of Ultra Instinct,
Oh,
which is,
okay.
and it's basically, Ultra Instinct is just the ability to let go and have your body fight on its own. So it's like an
Right.
extension of it. So it's like, how it's just interesting. Like, how would Bardock have figured that out? I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, because
it's,
when I first read it, I thought he was just referencing, like, in this form, as if it's a new form different from Ultra Instinct. So, yeah, I misread that. But yeah, Carlisle, what'd you have about?
well, I mean, I think we've seen, because the way that they did the coloring with his like imperfect Ultra Instinct, it kind of was similar to this. So it might be like a different fork off of that imperfect version rather than a step beyond the perfect one. So it's kind of like a side grade instead of an upgrade.
Ah, yeah, I like that idea. Kind of how I almost feel like Vegeta's evolved blue form was kind of that too.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely.
So yeah, this is almost Goku catching up to Vegeta, but Vegeta's already figured out Ultra Instinct. So, or it kind of evolved that even further. So, but I'm curious to see more of this. I really liked the uh, Gas using Ultra Instinct on Vegeta to
Yeah,
continue his
that was
combos
cool.
going. um, and then Goku, like, using the force field bubble. I didn't realize it was a force field bubble until the sword broke, but I was thinking Goku was like, oh, I maybe I should try Ultra Instincting, or no, instant teleportating Vegeta from a distance, and it ended up not doing that. So it is just kind of kind of random. I mean, Goku is kind of the martial arts master of pulling new techniques out of his bum, and new forms and stuff a lot of the time. But this one just kind of felt. I liked it at first, and then I was like, oh, it's just a force field. There's so many times that would have been nice.
Yeah, I wonder if this was a technique that he learned from Whis, because I can't remember him using this before. Maybe I'm just forgetting, but Whis definitely does bubble shields like that.
Oh yeah, consistently, and yeah, I think it's safe to say Goku's never done something like this before, but just the whole idea that he can, form that from a distance as a support, I think that would give even cooler moments if Vegeta got the win finally. If Goku just put on the protective bubble to support Vegeta, and Vegeta be the cannon for once. I gotta let it go, don't I, guys? I don't think they're ever gonna give Vegeta the moment.
I think it was definitely working towards that. The only thing that really prevented Vegeta from winning was that he just passed out. Mm-hmm. Like even Gas's siblings, when they were watching, like, oh my god, he's like, what is he, a zombie?
Yeah.
And they're getting freaked out. Like, it was like, and when I was reading it, I was like, wow, how is Vegeta gonna lose? Type of deal. Just because it was just like, the more he gets hit, the stronger he gets. And I think that it definitely has that potential. He just has to, deal with getting dealt a crap ton of blows and not passing out. I think that's the key to it. But I think it definitely has the potential of being completely unbeatable.
Well, yeah, if he ate like a gum fruit and became made of rubber, so then he could take more blows, that would probably be great. But otherwise, I think Vegeta is just going to continue to be the world's best punching bag. Really against any other villain that's weaker than him, Ultra Instinct seems unbeatable. But as soon as Vegeta goes against somebody that's stronger than he is, which is about everybody we get to see Vegeta fight, it's gonna end like this. And so I almost feel like Ultra Ego is just the personification of Vegeta, and it's depressing. But I'm not sure if it's bad writing or if it's just disappointing for me.
I think it's just ironic. That's the whole thing. It's like it's supposed to be his, like you're saying. It is the personification of him. It's Ultra Ego. It's who he is. And originally the way it was presented was that as long as his, fighting spirit is burning, like, he gets stronger. But the fact that it's him getting beaten up is what makes it so ironic. Because, like you're saying, he is, a punching bag. And the fact that he's becoming that is just like, oh, wow, that's a really intense image.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just kind of darkly funny that would be his ultimate power.
Yeah, I know. My ultimate power is to get beaten up.
Yeah. He's like, I get hit a lot. Maybe if I could figure out a way to make it so the more I get hit, the more better I am. So I'll just keep on counting on getting hit. All right, Vegeta, just never change, I guess. He's gone through plenty of character development and stuff like that, but scrolling through, the whole Goku mouth blast thing.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, before that, I actually went to because I made a pitch about it. I went to check, and basically everyone who uses that mouth blast is a villain. The only people who aren't villains who used it was Piccolo, but the most of the time he's used it is when in Dragon Ball when he was a villain, and the one time he used it, when he became a good guy, was once in Dragon Ball Z when he was fighting the Saibamen during the
Saiyan arc.
The Saiyan arc, yeah. And so besides Piccolo, the only other one, a good guy who's done it, is Gohan when he's an Uzuru or a big ape. and he was basically he lost all control of himself during that time. So it's like it's just interesting because it's usually an evil person technique, and now Goku is using it. It's like, whoa, that's kind of intense.
Yeah, I kind of hope that we get the comedic relief in the beginning of the next chapter where Goku's just like, my mouth is still on fire. I don't know why people do that.
I can definitely see that happening if they adapt this for the anime.
That'd be so funny. I would love that, actually.
Or we get the meal at the end of the arc, and he's just like, oh man, my taste buds are still burnt from when I did the thing.
I like that too.
Never doing it again.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really interesting too.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things whenever the chapters come out a little bit earlier and they're getting translated, a couple panels leak onto Twitter and stuff, and that was one that leaked, and a lot of people were just, of course, getting mad for no good reasons, but I thought it was cool. I am surprised more people don't do that, but it's just having to channel the energy. They just, I guess, it's a fine way to do it, I guess, but
it makes sense. I mean, because like he's allowing his emotions to run on their own. Like that's the whole thing. Like he's allowing his hatred and anger to go nuts, and that's probably one way that it's doing that, since it's usually a villain technique. But yeah, no. Speaking of techniques, I think this is the first time in Super, or at least in a long time in Super, where Goku does a Kamehameha and actually does the incantation. Where actually goes Kamehameha. That was amazing. I freaked out when that happened.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we get the full lead up, other than just him instantly doing it, it definitely feels more. I mean, especially because this one seemed to do actual like damage, and it wasn't just deflected or absorbed or dodged or something. So add that to the tally for how many Kamehameha waves he's done in the. I've seen some YouTube compilations of somebody's like, every time Goku does a Kamehameha wave, and I'm like, dude, he does it a lot. Dude, get another hobby or something.
I kind of make wish that, I think it was in the last issue when it looks like that Vegeta was doing a Gallic gun, but he doesn't say the name. I want to say the name, like Raditz name. Say the name.
Why don't you say the name during? But I guess what was some other stuff that in this chapter that you guys wanted to talk about, or is there? Did you guys want to go ahead and jump into what you're hoping happens next?
I think his aura with this transformation is very interesting. It seems a lot harsher than Goku's auras usually are.
Yeah, it's very calming, and I almost wonder if the whole like bubble calm panels kind of helped with that, because it almost gives the lead up, because it's something Goku's never done before. So as soon as like the bubble showed up, you're like, okay, this is new. Is he channeling something? Is he preparing something? And it kind of all led into this new transformation, which I'm still not sure what I want to call it yet, but Ultra Instinct id sounds pretty cool, but I'm not sure if Shonen Jump's going to introduce the concept of id to Dragon Ball Super.
It'll be Ultra Emotions.
Yeah, or Moody Mode.
Moody Mode. Yeah, I mean, what I think is kind of cool though is, we saw another messed up side to Alec. Like he keeps on getting darker and darker with just how he treats his family, and it seemed like he was. I mean, I don't know if he was doing this just to, that he thought that saying all these horrible things to Gas would make him, find the next step and go beyond. But it looked like, I don't know if he was going to fight himself, but it looked like he had a plan in place, and it's like, what? I'm kind of interested in what that would have been, because like when Gas first does his new transformation, he becomes all old and wrinkly and stuff, like you can see Alec and he looks startled. He's like, huh, what's going on? Mm-hmm. So it's like, what was he planning on doing? Like, if he's saying, Gas, you're done, like, what, were you gonna fight? This is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because we get some conflicting information with Alec at the end. Like when he first approaches Gas, he picks him up by the throat and he's like grabbing him by the head and screaming at him. So you're like, okay, he's not like casually helping him up and just like, all right, use that final form you've got. But then we get the whole there won't be a next time panel, and then the explosion behind him. And then the very final panel, he's back to being confident and giving the "I know what's going on" face. And I just, yeah, I don't know. I'm just ready for Gas to be done because this would be maybe the fourth transformation he's had. It's just it's getting old, but they name dropped the Frieza again, so if he's not even in the next chapter, I'm going to be pretty disappointed.
I'm actually I don't know. I don't want Vegeta, Frieza to come. Like, well, I mean eventually, but not in this arc. Like I feel like that Frieza deserves like a bigger entrance. Like not just like I'm appearing in the battle now. Like the build up to Frieza. I guess for me, I want that build up. Like this would be a good way to position him in the next arc. But I feel like if he just comes in randomly in the middle of a fight that's been going on for a while, it feels like he's just like, just an add-on. Even though they've been building up to him by talking about him, but I don't know. I hope that's not the case because I like that mystery that they're talking about him. It's like, oh, he's like still this big force that everyone can't stop talking about. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But for me, I hope that's not the case.
I agree.
I mean, this could just be a lot of like the laying the foundation for the next arc as well. Maybe we get through this and Alec takes like, I'm going to be like the mastermind approach. I'm going to pit my enemies against each other. And he goes to Frieza and is like, those Saiyans are out here. They're going to mess up all your stuff again. You got to do something.
That would actually be, I would like that. Yeah. Like if this arc ends with everyone dead except Alec and he runs away and that leads into the next arc going to Frieza. That I like that. I would prefer that.
Then we have a Starscream over there on Frieza's side, ready to stab him in the back anytime.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Say that again?
A Starscream.
A Starscream.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
Right.
There's a series called Transformers.
I thought he said Starscream. I was like, did you name drop Starscream? I was like, I don't think I heard you correctly.
It's the iconic betrayal character.
Everyone knows. I don't remember. Is this the reveal that their goal is Frieza? Because before we felt that Granola's arc was to eventually take down Frieza, and then when they revealed, it's just like, we want to take down Frieza too, and it's like, well, why have you guys been working against each other this whole time? Like,
well, they were working together initially. Like Granola had been working with them for a while. So maybe that's why they were kind of able to align with each other for as long as they did. It's just everybody really hates Frieza, and sometimes they're willing to set aside their differences for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
Well, also, Granola didn't know that they killed his family, so, I mean, he was just...
Yeah, that...
Yeah. If he was still working with them and knew that they killed his mom, it's like, well, man, Granola, that doesn't make you look too good.
Yeah. I kind of would love to watch both Gas and Granola show up to Frieza at this point. But speaking of Granola, we got no Granola in this chapter.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute, and we did see that Namekian kind of heal him a bit. So I'm not fully gonna retire the idea that Granola could possibly deliver the final blow on Gas. I think Granola getting some justice for his family getting killed by the heaters and whatnot. It seems like it could still definitely happen.
I completely agree. I mean, it'd be really tragic if Granola didn't get that closure for sure.
That's all we got.
I don't know if they want to like keep him around afterward. It kind of feels like they do, but also I don't think they will.
It's like, well, he did get his life shortened too. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of has that time bomb. going.
Yeah, we have that time bomb, and it'll be interesting to see if they want to keep using his character for like another arc. Uh, just like, oh yeah, I guess there's one last thing I want to do before I die, and that's kill Frieza. And yeah, I'm curious to see how it all leads into this. But in this chapter, who knows how definitive it is? But the Heater's ship got knocked down by a shockwave and crashed. So they might not have a way off this planet unless gas instant teleports them away.
Oh man, that would be an ending if this like she just shows up and Frieza's like, I'm taking over this planet now, just completely by coincidence. It just destroys the whole thing while they're all on it. And everybody just has to teleport away.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of silly that Goku has been using instant teleportation for so many years, but he's always consistently been like, okay, you got to touch my shoulders, and then we can instant teleport out of here. While Gas has had it for a couple minutes, and he's already figured out, all right, well, I'm going to use this to kick Vegeta's ass. And I would have loved it if Goku used that against Vegeta, but maybe Gas is just a more creative fighter than Goku at this point. Who knows?
And he also learned this version of it from the Dragon Balls by becoming the most powerful warrior. So it might be like a different version of it too, or it's just more ingrained in his psyche as a result. I don't know.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, I think I think this chapter was a major improvement action wise than some of the recent panels. I know, especially during the Bardock fight, there was a couple panels where the legs were just like really, really bending the rules of believability. But this is a really solid chapter. I feel like this is one of the most solid chapters we've gotten in a long time, actually. I feel like even though we've had some cool stuff happen in previous chapters, there's always been a couple things where we're like, yeah, but this thing, let's talk about this thing that really sucked. And this chapter, there was a lot to like about it. So let's see if they end this arc strong.
Well, I do. I am kind of upset a little bit, trying to turn the tables on what you just said, Jason. No.
Do it. Do it.
No, like on it was on page 36 at the bottom. Where Goku he's already found his new transformation. Vegeta's been beaten, and he looks up and he's just like, haha, this fighting style is meant to be Ultra Instinct. Absurd. It's like it kind of just it goes back to the whole thing where Vegeta was like basically his old self again when they came on to planet Cereal. Like he's like, I would rather die than fight next to you. Like I feel like he actually hated Goku, like, and he's been hiding it from him. And then like all of a sudden, I think it was in the last chapter, we find out Vegeta finds out about the wish that Bardock made, and that could be, the reason why Goku has been doing so well. And Vegeta just like kind of just like shrugs it off and like just like demotes it to this little swipe when it could have been so much more intense. And it kind of like, and in here too, it's like in this moment, like if their rivalry was still as strong as it used to be, or that it was hinting that it was still the case when they first came on Planet Cereal. But like it seems like he's fine with it. He's like, even though like he's all beat up and on the ground, it's like I would have loved him just be like, ugh! He's done it again type of thing. Mm-hmm. Where it's like his alter ego is his thing. Like he gave his own spin to Ultra Instinct, and now Goku has given his own spin to Ultra Instinct as well. So it's like you have been one-upped again, Vegeta, but it's like he seems fine with it, and it's kind of like, oh, that's kind of lame.
Well, I think it's because everything we've been led to believe with Ultra Instinct was, you have to remove your emotions from it. And I kind of appreciate Vegeta having this reaction immediately after Goku using the Mouth Blast, because anytime that we've seen the Mouth Blast, it's usually during a moment of a lot of emotion or anger or something like that, which is, I think, a reason that we haven't seen it a whole lot. I mean, I could be wrong, but anytime I remember them using a mouth blast, it's usually out of desperation or after they're very upset. I definitely remember like Nappa and Piccolo using it, and as you said earlier, like Gohan and the Ozaru transformation, which is always always an angry form. So it just yeah, Vegeta seeing Goku use is just like you're getting your cake and eating it too. This doesn't make sense. Like this is absurd.
Maybe it's like a Ultra Instinct Primal. He's really like an alternative to Super Saiyan 4, where we're harnessing that monkey power in a very different way.
Oh yeah, imagine like he keeps on upgrading this form and his black hair keeps on growing uh, all over his body, and it eventually turns into super like kind of looking like Super Saiyan 4. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be dope. But I'm still upset about that panel, though. No.
The Vegeta one.
Yeah, I want that. I guess I was like turned off by that last chapter when Vegeta just like it just seemed like all of the progress we've been making in like their rivalry, like it was like reheating itself, and it was like getting back to its roots, and then all of a sudden it seemed to be like thrown out the window, and I just saw this and it kind of just like picked away at that agitation a bit. But
Definitely feels like there's something going on with Vegeta's character that hasn't quite been laid out for us yet. Maybe when this fight subsides, we can have a little chat and figure out just what exactly he's feeling, because it's hard to recognize what he's thinking in some of these panels.
Oh man,
yeah,
I almost feel like it would be the perfect segue for him to finally go visit the other Saiyan planet, like Kale and
yeah, because he really gained like that rapport with. Okay, I've already forgot his. I think it was Kale. Was it Kale or was it the other one?
Kaba.
Yeah, Cabo. That's what. Yeah, like he became like his mentor.
Yeah, at the end of that, the tournament where we were introduced to Kaba, I think he was just like, yeah, I promise, or you should definitely come visit the other planet of the Saiyans. He said something along the lines of like, yeah, I think I will have to do that, but especially with the realization of Bardock and Vegeta even saying like, oh, to be reminded of Saiyan heritage from of all people being your father, I think is the perfect segue to him being re-interested in Saiyan heritage. So I feel like it would be the perfect thing to lead into Vegeta going there next.
It would be super interesting. I feel like that's a very different direction than where we're headed, but boy, that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I've been really wanting them to get there ever since the Tournament of Power. Like I've been loving these last few arcs, but I've been like it was in the back of my mind. It's like, oh man, let's see those other Saiyans again. Like it's such a big tease because like there's literally so many other worlds out there now to explore. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and that one just seems so rich narratively wise, like especially now that they're Goku kind of, being more interested and looking into himself and counting on his own power, and Vegeta finding new interest in heritage and all that. I think it'd be perfect. I just we're not sure. I think the last couple discussions we've come up with some pretty wild theories on where we would love the series to go next, and I think the last one we wanted was Goku to go on a journey of self-discovery and try to find his brother in hell. And I don't feel like they're gonna do that with the story, but we would love it. I think that'll about wrap up this discussion on Dragon Ball Super Chapter 85, unless you guys had any final thoughts on it.
No, I mean, I just like the little things I liked was the Kamehameha being spoken. But yeah, I think that's I think we pretty much covered it.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, it's always good to see a good old Kamehameha, especially when it's drawn well. Speaking of drawn well, one panel that just really took my breath away, I think it was on page 8, but it's kind of near the beginning when it's right after Vegeta just got done getting hit a lot, and Goku's about to jump in, and Vegeta just, "Stay back, Kakarot." It just seemed like a lot of emotion drawn in that one panel, but that was just the warm up for me until page 15. Vegeta's on the ground and Gas is quite sure he's not getting back up, and then we just get the slow pan of Vegeta opening one eye, and I think it's one of my favorite panels I've seen in Dragon Ball Super. It just feels so much more detailed and so much more. I don't want to say like up close, but it just felt it felt so Vegeta, with the amount of details that they've thrown into it. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm sure somebody else could break down more eloquently why that panel is so awesome, but it just felt so much more detailed than we normally get in a lot of these panels.
Well, I think as you said it earlier, I mean, Vegeta is the human punching bag, and usually, like we've seen him in a lot of these situations where he's beaten to hell, but he still manages to get back up. So that might be why it's speaking to you. I don't know, but I agree. It's very well drawn.
It's cool.
I like it.
I liked it a lot. But yeah, we'll have to see. The whole being able to instant teleport people just by pointing at them, like that. If Goku could do that, he could beat Superman.
He could beat Superman anyway. No.
Let us know in the comments. Find Steven's email. Let him know your thoughts on Goku versus Superman. But yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode of Mega Manga Monday. I am Jason Hahn, and I would love it if you checked out other episodes of Mega Manga Monday. Follow us on Twitter also at Manga Mondays. But we talk about different types of series. We try to do weekly podcasts on stuff that's coming out every week, like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, and My Hero Academia. And man, guys, we have so many awesome mangas coming back now. Like, we're gonna have Berserk to talk about. We're gonna have Chainsaw Man to talk about. It's we're gonna have to find out how to get all these scheduled, guys.
Yeah, I never thought I'd imagine a world where Berserk would come back. Not only just that, but Chainsaw Man at the same time. It's like, whoa! It's a dream come true.
Yeah, it's a great time to be a manga fan. So please subscribe to Mega Manga Mondays and let us know in the comments and on Twitter. Reach out if you have any thoughts on any of our discussions, and we'll be happy to reach out to you. Yeah, let's see what else I got. Definitely check out ScreenRant.com. We're all writers there. I write video game news, and my buddies here write for the comics section. Lots of very insightful, interesting articles written about Marvel, DC, and manga series. So definitely check that out. I also stream if you like. I have a YouTube channel called Honzy and Friends where I like to stream games and try to be funny. It's an attempt. Yeah, check that out as well. But Steven, any recommendations or plugs, bud?
I don't think anything's different from last week. I mean, the new Boruto chapter, I really like the direction where it's going, and it's definitely the best moments in Boruto. And I keep on saying, like, this latest arc can definitely save it for me, since I've been struggling with it for a while. But I really like this new direction. And then also, I mean, there's these newer series that have been coming out. It's kind of a shame, like they've been kind of disappointing. Like Rory Dragon had a pretty strong start, but this latest chapter I'm not really feeling it. Same with Aliens Area. Hopefully those two will pick up soon. But
well, yeah, you can find all these mangas on the Shonen Jump app. That's where I read most of my stuff, honestly. You can read a lot of the newer chapters for free on the website, but I think if you give them just $2 a month, you get access to thousands of chapters of manga. You can go back and read classic series that you've always wanted to read but just never had the time to. Well, it's there. It's waiting for you. It's on your phone, and it's super easy. We're not sponsored, but we're just big fans, and those series have given a lot of happiness, so I can't recommend it enough. But Carlyle, any recommendations and plugs, man?
Yeah, recommendations. I don't know. I haven't. I've been watching the Ace Attorney anime for 2017 recently, and it's pretty hilarious. So
cool.
if you're looking for something funny for that.
I do love the Ace Attorney series. I forgot that had an anime version. I'll definitely check it out.
It's very over the top. It's very funny. And I tracked it down because it sounded familiar to me, and I figured out that the music composer for that anime is the same one that did Inuyasha. So there's a lot of like Inuyasha music stings in there that if you watched Adult Swim or Toonami during the early 2000s, you're gonna jump when you hear it.
Oh, very cool. And
as far as plugs, check me out on Twitter. Elven Revenue is the Twitter for the visual novel. Haven't been too active there lately, but I'll get back to it sooner or later.
Yeah, absolutely. The visual novels seem to be coming along pretty well in the last demos that came out, and it's a visual novel based on running a tax revenue service in a fantasy realm. And
we're running a tavern being audited by the tax service, and you're being audited by your childhood friend, potential love interest. So
I like that.
It's got a lot going wrong right at the beginning, so it can spin off into a lot of directions.
I like that.
Excellent. Sounds like a big old drama bomb. That sounds like a lot of fun, man. Definitely check out Elven Revenue Service, and I think that'll about wrap up this episode of Mega Manga Monday. It's been a lot of fun talking to you guys today, and I look forward to the next one.